Good evening and welcome. Tonight we will be going over the history and geography of Amasya in Turkey. Amasya, as you can see, is a small space compared to the rest of Turkey. Pretty much all that I found about it was about the town of Amasya. So we're going to be talking mostly about that. But the region here is a really beautiful mountainous valley. It's sandwiched between the mountains along the Black Sea coast and central Anatolia, which is, I wouldn't call it flat, but it's flatter than the region up here. So it is mainly a beautiful river valley. This is the Yeşilırmak River. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. I hope that's at least close to it. The Yeşilırmak River. Between the mountains here and the little mountain towns around Amasya. So let's talk about the history of this place because it is really, truly fascinating. The region's been inhabited for a very, very long time by many different groups of ancient peoples like the Hittites, the Phrygians, the Lydians, among quite a few others until until after the Persian Empire just over there collapsed due to Alexander the Great invading it and destroying it. This region was then taken over by a sort of branch of the Persian Empire known as Pontus. It was ruled by the Pontic kings, which would eventually expand into the Pontic kingdom all along the coast here. But Amasya was the capital. The Greeks moved into the region by the year 183. I didn't write down BCE or CE, so sometime around then. And the area became very Hellenized, or that means Greek, kind of a Greek culture with this sort of Persian twist to it. The capital of Pontus was Amasya, so this is the place where the Pontic kings were buried, and they built these beautiful stone tombs in the hillside along the town here, which are still there today. We'll take a look at them on Google Earth. I think it's probably one of the neatest things about this region because not a lot of places have hillsides covered in tombs of ancient kings. Can't say that about everywhere else. I think that's cool. By 70 BCE, the area was captured by Rome. Pontus and Rome had a big back and forth power struggle in the area, but Rome eventually won out, which would eventually turn into the Byzantine Empire after the capital was moved to Constantinople just over here. By 1075, the region was invaded by Turkic peoples known as the Danishmend, and later the Seljuks would move in and take over the area, another Turkic people. But by the 13th century, the Mongols came into the area. The Mongol Ilkhanate reigned here until the Ottoman Empire's influence started to grow and grow, and the Ilkhanate's influence started to shrink and shrink. So the Ottoman Empire ceded the area in 1392. And this is when it really started to flourish during the Ottoman period. Not that it didn't flourish before, and not that it ever stopped flourishing. but you can still see a lot of remnants of Ottoman architecture and lifestyle in Amasya today. And what's interesting is that Amasya attracted many, many different ethnic groups. I mentioned the Greeks before, but there is a big Armenian population there as well, along with other cultural groups from the region. So what a lot of Ottoman rulers did was that they sent the princes to Amasya to govern there. Since it had villages of peoples from pretty much the entirety of the empire, so they could practice there and learn about all the cultures that they would one day rule over. I think that's neat too. A very important moment in Turkish history happened in Amasya in the year 1919. Mustafa Kemal, better known as Ataturk, father of the Turks, declared the War of Independence in Amasya to kickstart what would eventually become the independent nation of Turkey. That's pretty neat. And pretty much those are all the notable things I found in history. Amasya just seems like a place where nothing truly bad had happened. There were some bad things, during World War I, a lot of Armenians and Greeks and other Christians were booted out, some rather violently, but not nearly at the scale as in other parts of Turkey. It just seems like all of the historical facts I read about Amasya were like the people loved living here and they loved this valley and just wanted it to prosper as much as possible, and that's still true today. Since it has such an interesting preserved history, it attracts a lot of tourists today. It's a tourist village, and what's interesting, I think, is that each region of Turkey kind of has a food that they specialize in, but the food that Amasya specializes in is just apples. Makes me really want to try them. I love apples. If your apples are that good that they're like the regional thing to eat, it's like I gotta try it. Those must be some pretty good apples, right? But anyway, that was a very abridged history of Amasya. I could have gone into more detail, but you guys get the gist. Let me show you on Google Earth, because this is such a beautiful place. I cannot describe it anymore. I have to show you. Grab my tablet here, flip it the right way. There we go. So I zoomed out a little bit so you can see exactly where we are. There's Anatolia here. There's the big Black Sea. There's Amasya. Let me zoom out a little more just in case you're not sure where exactly Turkey is. Turkey is right in between the crossroads of Europe. You've got Asia, you've got Eurasia, you've got Africa down here, and the Middle East over here. It's sandwiched right in between all of these regions. And there's Amasya. And yeah, the region isn't as large as a lot of other parts of Turkey. Let me show you this little slideshow here. So here's a good picture. You can see this beautiful old architecture here along the river. You can see one of the tombs right there. Oh, I didn't mention the big castle up top. We'll take a look at that in a minute. Lots of very old preserved buildings here from many different parts of history. This is just so pretty, isn't it? Amasya. So here you can see at this little photo area here, the tombs carved into the hillsides. Is that not incredible? Imagine that being your view every day when you look out your window in the morning. That's so neat. Lots of cultural history as well. We'll talk about Ferhat and Shireen in a minute. Some beautiful old Ottoman style mosques. Little clock tower there. Another view of the tombs up there facing the river. like a big minaret there by this building. This kind of looks like an Armenian church building, though. So I don't know, maybe, I'm not sure. That's definitely a mosque, though. A cool statue here. We're facing the back end of it, but I assume that's Ataturk up there, around all of these guys supporting him. Beautiful buildings along the riverside. And yeah, just a mishmash of all of these little pockets of history that's lived here. It's still around. It's a big teapot. And inside the beautiful mosque. So let's dive right in here to Amasya. You can see the little valley here. You put it on kind of 3D here so you can see it's really like a real true valley here among these huge cliffs. It's really beautiful. I promised you a castle or a fortress. Really cool. Look at that. It's sprawling and beautiful. The great view of the town below. Still very well preserved. Some Arabic inscriptions there. Lit up at night. It's so cool. Oh, there's a closer look at the carving there. And there's the big mosque from above. Old cannon. In the snow time too. Very, very beautiful spot. Way up high on the mountain. So this slideshow here is really about this old clock tower. But it's another great view of the old style buildings along the river, even lit up at night as well. And you can see, once I find it, let's see. Oh, there's the statue from the side. Beautiful boats there. Yeah, better pictures of the tombs because I can't find any other pictures of them on Google Earth. You'd think there would be, but I don't think they're places. Oh, that's a neat little display there. I don't think they're places that you can just walk in and explore. I found one though over here. It looks like they have an old wooden door. And here it says that the tomb built in the 2nd century BC is the best processed and completed among the rock tombs in Amasya. About 10 meters above ground, so it's easier to get to and it's still very well preserved. However, the rest of the slideshow just shows like flowers and stuff, so but yeah, that's the best I could do for the tombs. There are so many cool museums in this town. One of them is an archaeological museum, which I'd normally love to show you, but the slideshow is mostly pictures of mummies. And I don't want to distress anyone who doesn't want to look at pictures of like very long dead people. So let's check out some of these. The miniature museum of Amasya. How cool is that? Miniatures. Beautiful artworks. Lovely garden. Big tree there. That's at the mosque. So it looks like it has like those dioramas and things. Little displays at what life was like there before. Old photographs. I guess you can walk by some of the tombs. Lit up at night. I bet the city is so gorgeous at night based on some of these pictures. Hello, kitten. Let's see this museum. There's the display there. So I think, oh, look, that guy looks important. Some kind of sultan of some kind. Yeah, there he is working hard. Some old tools there. Maybe some surgical tools or something. Hello, kitten. This is a neat museum. What's in these jars? Some kind of ingredients or something. I'm not sure. kitten's biting my foot. Some cool drums. An old instrument there. What a neat place. And there's so many cool museums here because they really want you to, they really want to draw on the tourists, you know, to see the history. And those. There's the mosque. Big is it? 15th century mosque. How beautiful, right? Yeah, a lot of these places we saw in other slideshows, but you know, I think this mosque is really pretty. Let me see if I can find a good photo. The inside, probably not, but you've seen a few already. It's a really pretty mosque. Let's see, that's the archaeological museum that you can check out in your own time. Almost every picture is of the mummies, so not about to stress anyone out showing them like very old dead bodies, you know. I'm trying to find, let's see, we saw that one. Is it this one? No, not that. Oh, maybe it's this one. Yes. So this, I'm not positive, but I'm guessing by what's inside and the fact that it's called the Museum of the Struggle or something like that in Turkish, that this is where Ataturk met up with his leaders, with his friends, I guess, to plan out how this war was going to work in this room. That's what I assume, at least. I can't read Turkish. But yeah, it looks like it's a museum about the independence war, so I just assume that this is the spot. That's pretty neat too. Ooh, cool. Wow. Old weapons, old photographs, old swords. Something written there very fancy. Gold lettering, so we can't even try to read it even if we wanted to. It's down there. What's this? This looks cool. Ishilurmak. A park. You can look at the river, but I've shown you so many pictures. This town is so gorgeous. Alright, the last place I want to show you. There were lots of cool other places, like, you know, the museum and all that, but I encourage you to check it out on your own. Is the Farhat in Shireen Lovers Museum. So the story goes, from what I understand, was Farhat fell in love with the Princess Shireen. He was told, well, you can have her hand if you dig a well through the mountain here in Amasya. And while he was digging, he heard a lie that Shireen had died. So he threw his working tool and it hit him in the head and he fell off the cliff. When Shireen heard that, she jumped off. Very kind of Romeo and Juliet. So here's the cliff. Oops. Here's the cliff, and then up here is the statue of the two lovers in their final moments. The place where they both fell. There's a better picture. That's really neat. You know, there's lots of little legends like that all over the world, but very few where you can pinpoint the exact spot where it supposedly happened. Little Turkish Romeo and Juliet in a way. Look, you can become them. Some whirling dervishes there. I wonder if that's in the miniature museum or if it's part of the Lovers Museum. Depiction of them there meeting. Very Romeo and Juliet there at the balcony. That's pretty cool, I think. So those were all the neat things I found for you in Amasya, but again, I encourage you to explore and let me know if you found any other cool places. A lot of these, like, I've been trying to find little villages and like cool, like it's a lot of flowers, which is fine, but this isn't a flower channel, so I'm going to end it there for tonight. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this style of content, please consider subscribing, as this is an ongoing series on my channel. Next, we are kicking off Amazon Week. We are going to be exploring the rainforest and the river for a whole entire week, starting in, of course, Brazil. So be sure to subscribe so you won't miss out. I hope that you found this video relaxing and educational, and I hope that you have a good